Is it showing up on YouTube?
Let me just refresh here.
Okay. All right, I see you. I see you on YouTube.
Oh, all right. Oh, there it goes.
On YouTube.
Let me just mute it there on YouTube.
There. Okay. But there's a delay. I see us talking.
Yep. Hi, Michelle.
Where's Michelle? Oh, okay, I see everybody on YouTube now. Yay, Michelle made it.
We got Bonnie too.
If you all have Gmail accounts, come join us on Google Hangouts. It's nice to have people to talk to. So how many more days until the conference, Kim?
Gosh. It's a week from this Friday.
Okay. Wow, 1 week.
Yeah.
So that means everyone has to be getting their business cards ready, your samples, working on your pitches, right?
Yep. Yeah, no, it's fun. This is going to be a fun one. I've never been to Arizona, so I'm looking forward to some desert. This is gonna be really cool.
Well, hopefully the weather will be nice.
I hope so. I've never been to Arizona, so I'm looking forward to some desert. Really cool. Oh, I think I hear myself on your
weather will be nice.
I hope so. I've never been to Arizona, so
okay, there.
There we go. All right.
Okay, everyone, welcome to Office Hours. This is our last one for the online course. There's no real teaching during this session. This is just an opportunity for you to ask us questions and for us to answer them. So you are about 1 week out from the actual conference. So this is getting real exciting because you're gonna have a great time in Phoenix. Does anyone have any questions about what's been going on this past week? We've had a lot of great discussions in all of the forums, and there's also been a lot of sharing of resources in the Ask the Class. So thank you for doing that for each other. Just as a friendly reminder, so I know that not having the hard books can be kind of difficult. So when you're looking for the assignments, don't look at the numbers on the PDF at the top. You know how the PDF is numbered? I should show my screen. Hold on 1 second. So there's page numbers here on the PDF. Don't use those. Use the page numbers here on the actual book. So you're not going to be able to see it, but the numbers are real small. So this is page 242 for the market analysis worksheet. That's what you're going to go by. And what you'll see is that not all of the pages are numbered. Like this one does not have a page. And I know some people were having trouble seeing this assignment. If you could not see the market analysis worksheet in your PDF reader, try downloading it again or updating your reader. It should show up as chapter 12. And there's 3 pages. So it's not like an actual worksheet, although it does give you guidelines on what to look for as you're doing your market analysis.
I was just going to say too, I have the hard book and they're different page numbers, but I kind of I'll pull up the PDF if I'm not sure, but I can usually figure it out. So they're different because it's I think the 4th version for the hardcover book. So.
Oh, okay. So it was edited.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, good. I'm glad you said something. It's chapter 12. I hope they didn't change the chapter numbers.
Oh,
it's
gosh.
actually chapter 15.
Oh, it's chapter 15?
No, 13. It's
13.
It's chapter. They made it its own chapter, I think now. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're going to have to adjust the syllabus for the next time, or just add it, right?
We're gonna have to. We have both editions out there, I think. So yeah, we're gonna have to make sure we're putting in there which edition we're asking you guys to look in, and if there's a difference, we'll make sure to note that. I'm sorry about that, Kate.
Yeah,
That's
thanks
okay.
for bringing that up. I know there have been a lot of questions about that. I have the older edition, so it matches what my book has.
The names are usually the same though, as far as like it's called market research or whatever it is. So usually I can figure it out, so it's not a problem. Like I said, I can always pull up the PDF if I need to.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
good. Thank you. Stephanie asked if Guy Kawasaki is going to be at the conference. I'll let Kim answer that.
No, unfortunately, Guy Kawasaki won't be there, but we do have some really amazing speakers and instructors lined up for you guys. And I should be getting actually an electronic agenda out to you very soon, so that you guys can see what's coming up.
Anyone else have any questions? Good. It's great to see so many of you on the Hangout.
You're just supposed to check it off as complete. If you check the work, no, I didn't check the work. I didn't even know there was work to check. I do all this.
Was that a question for me? You were coming in broken. Something about checking the work? Okay. So what do you all think of the assignments?
For me personally, it's kind of hard because I'm still in the very, very beginning stages, but it is giving me a lot to think about. Sometimes I feel a little overwhelmed, but it's been nice to chat with my other classmates who are either going through the same thing or have already done it all. And so it's a little comforting in that sense. So it's a little overwhelming for someone who's, just starting out personally.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally understandable. Are you finding, Kate, that some of your industry research and market analysis is shedding some insight into your industry?
To be honest with you, I haven't done a lot of research just because it's such a different thing. And so for me, like mine, I haven't really told anybody what it is. I've kind of just given little bits of detail because it's just so unique. And so it's kind of hard. So I just have to I guess I'm gonna have to just delve a little deeper and maybe, like you said, look into getting a mentor that can kind of lead me the right direction.
Okay, yeah. When I went to VWISE 4 years ago, my company was just a concept at that time, and I really wasn't even sure if it was going to work. So just by sharing your what you're going to do, and you don't even have to be specific, just kind of tell people what your industry you're going into. It'll give you a lot of great feedback as to whether there's a demand for your services. It'll really help with your confidence as well as just your market validation.
Right, and I'm also getting to attend the EBVF.
Okay, I was wondering if this was you. And my friend emailed me right after I read your discussion, so I will connect the two of you because she will also be attending Florida State University.
Perfect.
Yeah. Kate, what industry are you going into?
I'm doing manufacturing. I'm actually I'm going to be producing an item that can actually be used in many industries. So that's part of my problem is it can be used so many in different ways, I guess.
I think if you can verbalize your pitch in a way that So when someone says, what are you doing? What's your business about? You would answer, we help, and then whoever your market is, it could be parents, families, business owners, whoever you service, we help blank with, and then you state their problem. And so that way you're not actually telling people what you're creating, so you can protect your patent. Is that something that might help you?
Yeah, actually, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, just practice writing it out, and you'll have several of those different pitches for your different audiences, since, as you mentioned, it'll help a lot of different people or markets.
And we got a couple questions out on YouTube, Sandra. So we have Raquel, who's letting us know she's a little overwhelmed with the marketing analysis portion, which is completely understandable. There's a lot asked in that section, but very kudos to her. Sounds like she made an appointment with a local librarian who's going to help her with some of the research and compiling data. So just, what advice might you have for folks who are feeling a little bit overwhelmed with that portion of it? Because it is a big task.
It is. Yeah, I want to commend you for even getting started. All you're going to do for now is just start storing everything in a cloud, some sort of cloud-based storage, like either Dropbox or Google Drive. So that way, as you slowly go through your stuff, you can access it very quickly. The whole market research is such a process, and it doesn't end with the stuff that the librarian gives you. You actually are able to do more when you can show your product to your market, either a prototype or performing a service for them, because then you get direct feedback. So we don't really talk about that in the course. There's primary and secondary research. You want to do both. So that's great that you're getting all the research that you need, and just go through it slowly. As you work with a business counselor and you start going through the nuts and bolts guide, it will really help you to develop and refine your plan. And a lot of it is just going out and working with your customers and getting their feedback. Super, great question. Stephanie, you met with the SBA. Okay, good. I'm glad you met with the SBA. So this was a workshop developed by them. I can't say enough good things about all these different resources that are out there for you, and a lot of them are free. So take advantage of it. Every time you go to a course, you'll find that you're at a different stage in your venture, and so the information which you may have heard more than once will have new meaning for you. So yes, definitely take advantage of all that. So we talked about primary and secondary research. As long as you can find ways to organize all the stuff that you're acquiring, either the actual written documents, the overviews, and then just going slowly through the nuts and bolts guide and filling things in, that will really give you some clarity into the direction that you want to go and whether or not your market wants what you have to offer. It's a long process. Writing a good business plan can take 6 months, but it's not about writing the plan, it's about going through the process. And like Avis is with us, she's developing a product for women who have who've had mastectomies but did not have the reconstructive surgery. Is that correct, Avis? You can just nod.
That's right. That's
okay.
Right.
And so that's fabulous. So for her, she would need to develop a prototype, test it on her market, see if they like it, get some pricing from them. What would you be willing to spend on this? And then go to different stores. How do women in that market purchase their stuff? Do they actually go to a brick and mortar store, or do they order it online? That's the kind of stuff you want to find out for your research.
It's actually both, but most is going to be found online. I find that there are more, the ones that were brick and mortar have not been able to, it wasn't a sustainable business model for them. Okay. So most is online.
Okay, good. I like this example because it's such a niche, and that's what a lot of you are going to be doing. If you can focus on an underserved niche, you have a greater chance of being successful. It's like being a big fish in a small pond. It's much easier to compete, and as a small business, you have an advantage because larger businesses can't compete in this market because they would have to they wouldn't make as much money as you would. Janet had something similar. She was serving an underserved market where women who had bigger tops, and that's, yeah. So you just need to know where those people hang out. That's the real challenge once you get into this, is the marketing. Where do they hang out? How can you reach them? You know, social media, or if you're in a business to business, like government contracts, and that's all. Trade shows, reaching out to each other. My husband was in that government contracting industry. I mean, you really have to be calling the prime contractors and reaching out and seeing who you can partner with. Good.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
One is, has anybody used the Business Road Test app that they advocate in the reading? And if so, has that been beneficial? And the other one is, what's the best way organizationally that you found for you to aggregate all of this data that you're compiling? Is it just put it in documents and load them up into the Dropbox like you were saying, or is there a certain program or tool that would be more helpful?
I didn't even know that the Business Road Test had an app, so I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm going to be looking into it and making some recommendations. I'm sure it's very helpful. The book is great. As far as figuring out all the data, some of it I had to work with a business counselor. I didn't understand what the financial ratios meant, and that's still a challenge for me. That is not my strength, but yeah, you're going to have to reach out to different people. And a lot of it will make sense as you go through the process, because when they start talking about distribution channels, that's like, okay, well, where can I go to market this stuff? So that's why the market research is really important, because some of these reports will actually tell you the best places where, or the places where your market will purchase from. And right now, e-commerce is just outpacing brick and mortar. Okay, good. Let me see. Do we have any more questions? There is a fee for the Business Road Test app. Oh, there is. I didn't know that. I will look into that.
Yeah, and it's definitely not something we require you to get.
I will look into that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to mute everybody as you come in, because we hear an echo. We hear ourselves. Go ahead, Kim.
So sorry. Yeah, no, Michelle is out on YouTube, and she said, yes, there is a fee for the Road Test app. And that is true. It's why we don't require it as part of the online course. To my knowledge, it is, you know, concurrent with the book, but does not offer any new content beyond what's in the book. So it's kind of, you know, how are you comfortable learning, and would that offer enough value to you that you'd want to invest in that? Unfortunately, our licensing with the book does not include an app license that we could give out to our students, although hopefully someday, but not right now. And Michelle, you had another question as well. How does it work? Sorry, I'm switching between screens and I'm doing it very poorly. How does it work if I myself am the product, a nurse practitioner providing healthcare services as a primary care provider? The market being a primary care clinic in the industry of healthcare.
That's a great question, Michelle. So you're actually functioning in the service industry. So you're selling your service, but you know, as most people in the service industry know, it's more about customer service. Do you have a specialty as a nurse practitioner? You can go ahead and type it into YouTube. Usually for your industry and for the healthcare industry, it's kind of tricky because it is based on referrals. So it really depends on the services that you provide. Other ways to generate revenue would be to publish books, offer classes, workshops, or to just increase the different locations that you have for your clinic. And we get a lot of healthcare providers in boots to business. And so, okay, family medicine. So there's a lot of different ways for you to make money, because you will probably have other providers in your clinic. You could probably expand locations. What else are? Oh, holistic healthcare is a big new thing. It's not a new thing, but that's a niche market, and a lot of providers will offer that, and you attract a following. People who are going to pay for holistic healthcare are cash patients, so that's another source of revenue for you there. Because you know that as a nurse practitioner, it's a lot of those therapies are not covered by insurance. I don't know if that answers your question.
Michelle's expanding a little bit. She would like to do research, and she also offers DOT physicals. Is that Department of Transportation, Michelle, or like a government contracting thing, or?
Yes, those are great. I do know another nurse practitioner who does the physicals, probably not for Department of Transportation, but it's just another way to bring in more revenue. So yeah, I guess looking for different contracts like that. And the research is another great thing. I don't know how you're going to get all this done, because I know you're so busy in your clinic. So you would probably want to hire a staff to help you with the research and apply for grants. But that is just a great way to really establish yourself as an industry expert. Does that answer your question, Michelle? Okay, Department of Transportation. Super. Yeah, the more you can get in terms of a customer base, definitely the better it will expand your revenues. Good. Great questions. Anybody else? When you're trying to figure out what products and services you're going to offer, the best way to do it is to research your competitors. So your direct competitors are people who offer the exact same product or service as you do. Your indirect competitors offer something similar. So if I was a fast food restaurant and I was selling hamburgers, my direct competitors would be anyone else selling hamburgers. Okay, I'm not going to mention any names, but we all know who those chains are. An indirect competitor would be somebody who is offering something like a substitute. So instead of hamburgers, pizza, fried chicken. We have a lot of fast food restaurants in this country. So what I've found that by going to trade shows and networking with my indirect competitors is that they're a lot more willing to share trade secrets with me, like where to find the customers, just the benefits of going to those trade shows. So those are ways, and actually that's part of your primary research. So those are ways to actually go and do part of your market testing, because you really want to know where can you find these people, what do they like, why will they buy from you, and that's going to be just as, and if not more important than the secondary research, which is obtaining those reports from librarians. Your primary research gives you a really close overview of what your customers want. The secondary research gives you the big picture. So I hope that makes sense. Anyone else?
So I have a question, Sandra, that relates back to something you said a little bit earlier in office hours, when you were talking about something that you just knew wasn't your strength. You know, how do you go about identifying the resources that are going to help you there? Because some of them cost money, some of them don't. You know, there are different, levels of support available in different areas. You know, I'm wondering how you identify when you need that extra help.
That's a great question. And this is the importance of networking with the local business counselors, is just asking them, I need help with this. Who do you know that can help me? And a lot of times the services are either free or at very low cost to you. So develop those relationships. And then I have found that my VWISE network has been great about sharing resources. There's something about being with a group of women, especially other veterans and military family members. People are really open about sharing things, and that's another way of finding some great resources that are free or low cost. There's a lot of There are a lot of apps online. Like if you can't figure out your break even, there's calculators online, and the same for market planning or for your marketing plan. So, but my first resource would always be to go to a business counselor, especially for something like financials, because I don't have that expertise, and there are people out there who love Excel and who love to create that kind of stuff. So more power to them. So what exciting things are coming up in the conference, Kim?
Oh my gosh, I am super excited for actually for Friday night for the opening ceremonies. We are honoring a couple really amazing ladies who have broken down some significant barriers in the military. We have Brigadier General Margaret Burcham, who was the first woman promoted to general officer in the Army Corps of Engineers. And we also have Major General Angie Salinas, who is hugely involved with the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas right now, which I think is awesome. And she was the first Hispanic woman to be promoted to general officer within her particular part of the Marine Corps. So we're going to start the weekend off right with something really inspirational, really just, you know, having those ladies kind of share their stories about overcoming what seemed to be, you know, really insurmountable odds, and then going forth from there. Have some really great activities. Of course, everybody's signed up for their breakout sessions already. So, you know, you're either startup track on Saturday or growth track on Saturday, and you're going through all of those classes. And then you've each selected 3 classes to take on Sunday. On Saturday night, there's also a lot of less structured than a classroom opportunities and activities. So more to come on that. But whether you want some direct coaching on pitching your business, or whether you want to speak to somebody about a really big business challenge that you're overcoming, or whether you just want some, you know, sort of small group time with one of our instructors or experts there at the event, we've got a lot of different stuff out there for you to do, and a lot of great VWISE swag that you can win as a prize.
Sounds exciting. Are you guys all ready for the conference? I'm pretty sure that's why we are hearing less from everybody, as you were all getting busy packing. Avis had asked a question earlier, and all of a sudden the answer just came to me. There's also software, business plan software out there, if that'll help you to organize your research. All I've done was just take the questions from Nuts and Bolts and copied and pasted them into a Word document, and that's how I've organized the information. So whatever works best for you. For some of you, technology may not be your thing. Just write it out, and then you can always pay somebody to type it in for you. That's fine. Whatever works for you. Anybody else? Yes, Janet, I got your email. I just got home not too long ago. So, you know what? Yeah, okay, I remember your industry is really unique. Some of these reports that have all the information that you want, you have to pay for them. So for you specifically, if you can Google some articles, and I'm going to help you because I did just look at your email before this. That will give you some information on how many women are in your market. Unfortunately, all those reports that you want are going to be real expensive. If you can, and this applies to everybody, every industry has an association that you can join. Even there should be a free membership, and that will give you access to at least some newsletters and maybe some of the demographics that you need for your market research. And if your industries overlap, sign up for all the industries. Okay, because what you're going to do is piece together your competitive strategy based on the success factors for each of those different industries. It's really going to depend on what your strengths are. And I know that on the feasibility analysis tool, there was a SWOT analysis. All you need to do for that is just list everything out in bullets. And as your team grows, it will start to become your team's SWOT analysis and not just yours. And then you'll be able to come up with something based on that. So I see a question here from Jennifer. What are the best tools to make sure she has ready and available to be successful? There are a lot of tools, of which one I can focus on now. Okay, do you see this question, Kim?
I do, and I think, Raquel, I see yours as well, and don't worry, we will absolutely answer both. So Jennifer, it sounds like you're wondering, if you need to bring, for example, the feasibility analysis tool with you to the conference, or your market research with you to the conference, and really, I would say, the things that you have questions on, the things that you want someone else's eyes on, those are good things to bring with you. Nobody, and this goes back to Raquel's question as well, which was how much do we need to have completed by the time we get to the conference? Everybody knows, all our speakers and instructors are aware of the format that you guys have had this course for about 15 days. So no one is expecting you to come with everything, completed and formatted beautifully, and every little I dotted and T crossed. What they're really going to be looking for from you is, what are your questions? What are the places where you feel like you need some more development, where you could, use some more expert advice. And if you want to refer back, to something that you have written out in your feasibility analysis, you can. But by no means is that going to keep you from being able to experience the conference fully. We'll have a lot more information to give you there. And a lot of it's going to build upon the work that you've done on the online course. So I know it's a huge amount of work. And I would say, where you need to focus the most based on, where you need the most development and the most help. So those are the things that I would focus on there, but you're not going to have to hand anything in. Nobody's going to be, looking over it unless you ask them to. So even if, you want to leave things really open-ended, you can do that. Or if you're the type of person like me, sometimes I just like to have that in my hands and I'm like, this is the thing I have the question about. Can you look at this with me? If that's where you feel most comfortable, then bring whatever it is you have your question about.
Good, very good. Yeah, I know some of you plan on going into government contracting. A capability statement might be good to look at, because somebody will look at it and ask you about your venture and say, and recommend more NAICS codes for you, or where to go so you can network with different contracting officers. Janet, okay, so in your question, the government gives an average that women spend on different items. Is there a way to pare that down with disposable income? If you can find how much money your market makes, just in general, I don't know, that's kind of tricky. If you just take that average that women spend on clothing items and then multiply it by the market size, that will give you the actual size of the market. So let's say women, well, we know they spend more than $500 a year on apparel, but I just want to make the math easy. So if they spend $500 a year and there's 2 million women in your market, then that's $1 billion market. So, and then you want to break it down even more to, I want to capture this percentage of that market. This is our market share. And then that'll give you some goals or some benchmarks for your financials.
And Jenna, I want to hop onto that. We will have an expert available at the conference, Amanda Nicholson, Dr. Amanda Nicholson. She's the marketing 101 and 102 instructor. She actually got her start in the retail industry with Marks and Spencer in London. She has a really cool British accent, and she actually, I believe, still does consulting work in the retail industry. So she's another person to go to. Just that she's an expert within that field, may have some more ideas for you on specifically related to clothing and retail. And she'll be at office hours on Saturday night, and that's a really good place to go. You know, class time is limited because we have instructors trying to get through a lot of material. So I definitely recommend when we get some information out to you over the next couple of days online, kind of read over the biographies and look at who might be kind of an expert in your field, and find someone to stalk during office hours in the nicest way possible.
There will be a lot of experts over there for you all to talk with. Yeah, so definitely bring what you have completed, you know, from the assignments. You don't have to show them to anyone unless it's a specific question that might be easier to just say, can you take a look at this? Like I did that at ABVF. I said, can you, and I actually asked Mike Haney, can you look at my vision and mission statement? And he actually helped me fix it. So there's no such thing as a dumb question. Don't be afraid to ask anyone anything. Oh, we're getting a lot of questions on YouTube. Okay, Jennifer, so about franchises, there are two different groups that really help veterans with franchises. One is VetFran. Let me type it in. Where should I type it in? There's two places to type.
I can get YouTube if you'd like.
So there's VetFran, and the other one is the Veterans. And they have a lot of resources for that as far as recommending stuff. I'm not a good source for that, but the organizations that are involved very heavily with helping veterans with franchises can give you all sorts of information and tips. I would reach out to them. Okay. So Avis has a question. Should we be able to type responses into the PDF documents? Yes. Yes, you can add comments. You should be able to type right all over them. So if you use the comments box, if you click on it, it'll bring up a new toolbar. If you want me to record my screen at some point or send more screenshots, I'll be happy to do so. But you can write all over those documents without printing them out. I mean, I don't know about you, I lose stuff all the time. It's easier for me to have Dropbox on my phone and be able to pull something up. Actually, I have a lot of kids, and usually anything I leave laying around turns into a paper airplane. So we've moved everything over to digital. Okay, Avis. If you're not seeing the PDFs correctly, download the newest version, and that should be able to help you. Make sure it's the right version that's compatible with your operating system. I don't know if that will help at all. If there's somebody in your home who could help you with that, or maybe even a business counselor, then you'll be able to open up the documents.
And Jenna, I see you have a question about how much time we will have with office hours on Saturday. Those are going from 6:15 to 7:30 p.m. And there will be a lot going on that evening. So some of the other activities will be going later until about 8 p.m. to give folks a chance to participate in more than one. But just because some of our instructors will have been teaching for most of the day at that point, we do end that one a little bit earlier than some of the others.
Okay. Good. Are there any other questions? So you, Janet, this is a great question. You want to interview women to see if they're interested in your shirts. Give away a prize. Say, I need people to answer my survey. And in exchange for your time, I am going to offer you maybe a free shirt. Trying to think of ways, maybe the class can help us brainstorm. If you can give away something that is not expensive, especially when you're not making any money right now, then that's a great way to get people to actually stop and give you their time. It's really hard to get people to fill out surveys, but if you can offer them something, then you'll probably get a better chance of getting someone to help you. There's also different online apps that you can use. I mean, and not just SurveyMonkey, but there's places where you can post surveys for your demographic audience to get some actual market feedback.
I think you can do, I mean, depending on how in-depth you want to get with your survey, if it's like, I'm just going to do a one or two question survey, I think you can do a Facebook poll as well.
Are you connected with those groups, Janet? If you're not, and this goes for everybody, start joining those groups where your audience hangs out. A lot of them are on Facebook. And if you're B2C, meaning business to consumer, you definitely want to be marketing through social media. And there's all sorts of different platforms. That's a good question. She wants to know where she can find women in her market. And I'm trying to think if there's a way to talk to somebody in a department store who has regular clientele that you know, they can give you access to them. Okay, Janet, there's some good recommendations coming up on YouTube. So Jennifer wrote maybe a USB key ring with some type of password protection. That's great. Anything that people will want. And this doesn't just apply to Janet, it applies to everyone. If you can find the places where your customers shop, that's where you want to go and do some of your market testing. I just don't know where to do that for her market. I mean, it would have to be a specialty clothing store is what I'm thinking. And maybe when you look on Facebook, because you can break it down based on their interests, that'll give you some ideas of where you can find them. Does Amanda Nichols talk about SEO marketing? Is there going to be an industry expert on that at the conference?
So for SEO marketing, I'd chat with Scott Nadzen. He is teaching the social media classes and the information technology classes. So Amanda is likely knowledgeable in that area, but Scott would probably be the true expert there. And he will also be at office hours, and he's teaching the social media, the geek chic, geek and training.
I'm going to type it in on Google Chat. There's a free version of BuzzSumo. Oops, hold on. Let me rewrite that. BuzzSumo. That will give you, like, if you're into the whole marketing space, it'll give you some resource. It'll tell you where people are advertising those backlinks. Mostly the social media platforms that they're marketing on, so you know what other competitors are doing. BuzzSumo, what was the other one? SEMrush. It's not my area of expertise, but I went to another conference, and they paired us up with mentors, and so he actually looked up all this information online. I said, so-and-so is my indirect competitor, and they're actually the biggest competitor out there for my industry, and he used those tools to see what advertising platforms were more successful for my competition. So that's one way it's a back way to find where you can, where your customers are looking at for their products. Oh, I know, Janet, in the industry association reports, that'll give you a lot of information on where you can find these women. It'll tell you where they're purchasing from, and that's how you would end up asking them questions. But I would go ahead and start with some sort of Facebook group, because, I mean, people don't feel like they're being pressured to buy, and they may be more willing to share information. Okay, good. Yeah, start a group yourself. People have started, I mean, there are so many different closed groups on Facebook, and they grow by word of mouth. So once you actually get some customers, they'll end up being your first evangelists. They're the ones who are going to market your product because you're helping them to solve a problem. So that is a great idea. So thank you, Janet. And that goes for the rest of you too, since a lot of you are doing some real unique things. That's the best way to start developing a following. We only have a few more minutes left on the Google Hangout and on YouTube, and pretty soon we're going to move over into the phone conference. So if anyone has anything else, and if not, just we're just going to move this conversation over. We had a lot of fun last time in the phone conference because everyone could speak at the same time, and we wouldn't hear an echo. So I hope you all can join us there. What else can we talk about, Kim?
All right. Well, everybody, check your email over the next couple of days. What I think we're going to do, we're going to offer one more hangout aimed just at the conference and preparing for the conference. So Dee and I will be on that one, and we'll be able to talk in greater depth about the schedule and about how to pack and about what those special activities for Saturday evening are going to be. And of course, we'll record it since we're all in different time zones here and all in different schedules. But we want to make sure we give you guys the information to feel prepared and be able to ask any additional questions you may have about the conference. It's usually about this time I start hearing, getting some calls and some emails from ladies who are very nervous about attending, and I totally get it. It's a really big step to take, but please know you don't have to be nervous at all. Every one of us is pulling for you. Your classmates are so excited to meet you now that you've been talking online this whole time, and our speakers and instructors are getting those presentations ready and super stoked to meet you as well. So don't worry at all. We're going to give you all the information that we can, and it's going to be a great experience.
Okay. Okay, last call for questions on YouTube.
I was just going to say, I noticed in a lot of the pictures the women are wearing business attire. Is that kind of what, I know you said, Kim, that you guys were kind of discuss that. Is that something that you recommend?
Yeah, so for the opening ceremonies, we recommend business professional, and for the rest of the weekend, business casual, because you guys are going to be in class all day. We want you to be comfortable. That first night is a little bit more special. You're going to see a wide variety of dress represented. Everybody coming in from different industries. Somebody who's working with Fortune 500 companies might be dressing a little differently than somebody who at this point is working out of their home, and we all have different resources at this time. So I would say, think about what you would feel comfortable meeting, a potential partner in, a potential mentor in, and, be authentic to you. And if you want to chat more, about, you specifically, definitely let me know. I want to make sure we help you feel comfortable.
And don't forget, they are taking headshots there, so you may want to have at least one nice outfit from the chest up, just for the headshots.
That's a good point.
And there's a group picture at the end too, in case you want an outfit for that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up, and then I'll see hopefully many of you on the telephone conference. And that phone number is in the Moodle classroom. So as soon as you go to the first page, it'll be right in the middle for the last set of office hours. All right, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you on the telephone. All right, bye-bye for now.